everybody, and welcome to What the Hell Should I Watch? I'm Steve Stebbing.
And I'm Chloe Stebbing.
And we are the weekly rundown of what we're watching, which may become what you're watching. And we come at you every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on stevestebbing.ca. Last week, we got to wipe away 2024 with our top 10s. Which were very hard to put together.
Yes,
we felt some serious pain. You felt the pain for the first time. Like, this is the yearly crush when you get to the end of the year, and 2025 might be a different year for you when it comes to it as well, right? Like, just the sheer amount of movies that we're gonna watch in a year. My Letterboxd review count was 287 for the year.
Like in 1 year?
In 1 year. That's old new. That's the film amount that I logged in Letterboxd was 287.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I was behind. I did not do the amount that I planned on doing.
But this year, 2025 is a whole new ball game. And I think I got some great films to start us out with this year. And one of them is technically a 2024 movie. We'll get to it. It's fresh for your eyeballs. All right, this week, the one that I teased last week, I think that this is going to be an awards contender. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to fit in. Maybe Best Picture, maybe Best Actor, Supporting Actress for sure, and hopefully Supporting Actor. But it's another music biopic. This is a complete unknown.
In 1961, an unknown 19-year-old Bob Dylan arrives in New York City with his guitar and forges relationships with music icons on his meteoric rise, culminating in a groundbreaking performance that reverberates worldwide. Starring Timothee Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro, Boyd Holbrook, Dan Fogler, Norbert Leo Butz, and Scoot McNairy. Written and directed by James Mangold.
First off, Butz.
Butz with a Z.
Butz with a Z. Secondly, James Mangold is the director on this one. He did Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic in 2007, which won some an Academy Award for Reese Witherspoon playing June Carter Cash. And then, of course, Joaquin played Johnny Cash, though I will say that the Johnny Cash in this film, played by Boyd Holbrook, is the best Johnny Cash I've ever seen on film that wasn't the Man in Black himself. He is so good in that role. It's just utter perfection. Every single syllable that comes out of his mouth is just so Johnny Cash. But I believe, I'm not sure. Like Timothée Chalamet, 100% is a bona fide star, but there is still, I think, a polarizing feel about him that some people just aren't on board with it. I feel like a complete unknown has to be that film where you have to really take him seriously as an adult actor, because he is so Bob Dylan in this movie. Like, to the nucleus of the real man himself. And he re-records Bob Dylan's music for this movie as well. So all the Dylan songs that are performed are Timothée Chalamet singing them. Just really, really great work from him. And the combination of that and James Mangold makes this a production that really celebrates music, and it starts from Chalamet down, of how good it's executed. Monica Barbaro, who plays Joan Baez in this film, is very, very strong in this. I think she's a strong candidate to be the best supporting actress, because this is kind of her story as well, weaved in here. And also Edward Norton, who plays Pete Seeger, who is almost like a father-ish figure to Bob in his kind of takeover of the folk industry of the time, and becoming a huge star in that genre of music, and kind of being the main draw of the Newport Music Festival, which Pete Seeger helped run. And then this is also about Dylan moving to the electric years, where he basically pissed off that fan base of folk music by bringing rock and roll into it. And like I said, the movie loves music. Every time the creating of music is on screen or just a good song is just so well put together. Also, Elle Fanning. I always love Elle Fanning, and she's in this one too. I just think it's a really, really strong film. As far as a music biopic goes, it's an absolute masterpiece of a film, and I think it deserves to be seen on the big screen too. I think it's just a really, really special film, and I absolutely loved it. I don't know if you have any interest in it. I know biopics, especially music ones, aren't really huge on your list. Did you have any interest in this one, just cast wise?
The cast is interesting to me. I like Edward Norton. I like Elle Fanning. Timothy Chalamet. I did like him in the Wonka
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
movie. Um, but I'm not super versed in like Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
yeah,
think the film is also kind of about the time and about the era as well, and how safe music was at that time. And then you have somebody coming in trying to bring the everyman's plight, the strife of life, social justice, social injustices into music and trying to bring attention to it. It kind of shows how we started having more of a say about who we are within music, and I think that's interesting. But yeah, very good film. Let's move on to some more possibly award nominated films. This is the new English language debut, feature debut of Pedro Almodóvar. This is The Room Next Door.
Ingrid and Martha were close friends in their youth when they worked together at the same magazine. After years of being out of touch, they meet again in an extreme but strangely sweet situation. Starring Tilda Swinton, Julianne Moore, John Turturro, and Alessandro Nivola. Written and directed by Pedro Almodóvar.
So Almodóvar is a huge name when it comes to Spanish film.
I
Um,
have heard his name
Yeah,
before. Yeah,
yeah, he's one of the top names. Actually, a film that I think would be a really great one for you to start on, and you might have heard of this one. It's called The Skin I Live In, and it's got
I have
Antonio
heard of that one. Yeah,
Banderas. Yeah, do you know about this one? Where he like basically performs a sex change operation on a killer that I think he killed his daughter or something.
I might have seen this.
Yeah, it's twisted. It's just a
Yeah,
twisted film. But Almodovar, I mean, I think largely he's responsible for Banderas becoming a star. There was a film called "Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down" in the late '80s before Banderas came to North America and kind of made his debut with the Mambo Kings. I want to say. Um, but he also did All About My Mother, Volver, Julieta, and then he did an English language like gay cowboy short film recently called A Strange Way of Life with Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal.
yes,
Um,
I do know about that one.
yeah, and then this is his full length debut, and I mean it's about two estranged friends that meet up once one gets word that the other one is in the hospital and dying of cancer. So Tilda Swinton is dying of cancer, and Julianne Moore is an author who just released a new book, and then they reconnect, and they've been very close friends for a long time. And Tilda Swinton asks Julianne Moore to go off to basically an Airbnb in rural New York State because she is she's gotten a pill off the dark web and she's going to end her life there. So they're basically going to
Yeah,
live, and then out of the blue, like when she wakes up one morning and the doors closed, Tilda, her character would have killed herself. And I mean, it's dealing with a really touchy subject for Americans, I think more, because in Canada we have MAID. So
yes,
somebody in this character's position would have had a legal and medical way to find their end of life, right? Like,
yeah,
to end this. In the States, it's a little more controversial than that. So they always have to skirt the fine line of Julianne Moore's character knowing nothing about it. Because if she does have any knowledge, she's an accomplice to, like, they can basically put her in jail for murder or
Yeah.
manslaughter or whatever. And it's a really interesting story at the core of it. I love Julianne Moore and I love Tilda Swinton, but I do not like her in this movie. I think that has to come down to the scripting. There's a very kind of stilted and closed off way in which the dialogue is given. I mean, Almodóvar's style is still present. Like, there's still some really great pops of color here and there, and it's beautifully shot. But I just think that there might have just been something lost in the process of making the story and the script that just really rubs me the wrong way. And yeah, I was really kind of disappointed by it. There's some really great stuff because Alessandro Nivola doesn't really come into the film until the third act, and there's some really great stuff in the third act that I really liked. But by that point, it's a little too late, and I just it just wasn't for me. I hope for more English language stuff from Almodóvar because I think he's a really interesting filmmaker, and I think it's a great conduit for somebody to see an English language film that he made and then want to go back and watch some of the stuff he made in Spain, some better stuff that he made in Spain. But yeah, this one just was not for me. It's highly rate. It's pretty well rated on Rotten Tomatoes, but I just did not have it for me here whatsoever. So yeah, let's move on to some actual foreign film here. This is, I believe, it is the entry for India in this year's Academy Awards. It is All We Imagine as Light.
In Mumbai, Nurse Prabha's routine is troubled when she receives an unexpected gift from her estranged husband. Her younger roommate, Anup, tries in vain to find a spot in the city to be intimate with her boyfriend. Starring Kani Kasrudi, Divya Prabha, Chaya Kadam, and Hridhu Harun. Written and directed by Payal Kapadia. I'm so sorry. I tried.
It's all good. Capadia, I think the last name is pronounced. This was a film that was sent to me on the IFC screeners for awards consideration, and I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. And watching it, I was really struck by how how modern and progressive this story was, especially regarding love and sex in India. I don't think I've ever seen a film this frank about stuff like that coming from India. You know, maybe from an American or a British or somebody else's point of view looking into India and trying to make that story, but not from their own voice. And Capadia, her script really excels in this one because on one side, you have an existing love. You know what I mean? A love that has gone through its ups and downs and now has this like new portion of it, this new declaration of it. And then the other hand, you have like new burgeoning love, but it's not even love. It's just kind of lust and just like they're looking to see if it's going to make that connection, but they can't find a place to make that connection. And I think that's a very interesting aspect, like a kind of a duality in the storytelling that I really thought was like, it was very engaging very quickly. And all four actors in this film are fantastic. They do a really, really great job, and it's all so beautifully shot. And I don't know, it's been a good year for shooting India. Between Monkey Man and this film, like both films are really, really great looking and very original looking in their own ways. So I definitely think it's been a good year for India internationally when it comes to international storytelling.
Yeah, international is the key word here because Bollywood is huge. But
for sure.
It's Bollywood, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Western people, it's not palatable for them. And
Mm-hmm.
I, unfortunately, am one of those people. It's way too over the top for me.
Yeah,
But I think Monkey Man really broke through, and like that was the start. And I hope that they keep putting out films that do reach greater audiences.
absolutely. Yeah, because it did marginally well box office wise, but it wasn't like a huge hit or
Hmm.
anything. But I do know critically it did well, and the people that have seen it really enjoyed it because the audience score is really solid on it too. So.
Yeah.
But All We Imagine is Light, not a huge distributor behind it, but I think it's definitely worth a look. All right, I got another musical biopic here. This one's also a heavy awards contender, I would think. I honestly thought it was going to win the Golden Globe for Best Actress, but it didn't, and I was very surprised. This is Maria.
Maria Callas, the world's greatest opera singer, lives the last days of her life in 1970s Paris as she confronts her identity and life. Starring Angelina Jolie, Pierre Francesco Favino, Alba Rohr-Watcher, Haluk Bilginer, and Cody Smith-McPhee. Directed by Pablo Larraín.
And Pablo Larraín has a gift for telling women's true stories. He did Jackie with Natalie Portman, and he
Okay.
did Spencer with Kristen Stewart. Which the Spencer is a low key folk horror film. Honestly, I swear to watch that film thinking it's a horror film in your mind, and it does play like one because it very much has like some of the same kind of points to it. And there's one scene in particular, I'm like, how is this not a horror film? But he just excels when it comes to telling the true story of important women in history. And Maria Callas is a woman that was very important to Europe, to music and opera in Europe. She was the top of that industry, and this film is fragmented into stuff from the past in her dealings with Aristotle Onassis, who she was kind of a kept bird for. Like he was obsessed with her, and then kind of like had like kept her in secret type of thing, and then basically forgot her once he met and fell for Jackie Kennedy.
Okay.
So it's a really tragic story in its end. Like like when she died, the only people around her were her servants. But like she was very close with her servants, but like she kind of lived the life of recluse. Like anytime she went out into public, like people would come up to her and like, for example, one would be like, "Oh, you broke my heart because I was coming to a concert and then you canceled." And she's like, "Well, I was sick." And it's like, "Oh, but I came from so far away and you canceled." And she's like, "Well, I
Oh,
was sick. I don't think you understand the power that my body has to go through to sing opera." And it's like, that's also something that's kind of shown through the film, like the diaphragm work, the gutturalness of it, like how she has to
yeah.
kind of command her whole body, and how she's broken ribs, how she's torn stomach lining, how she's like had lung injuries and everything through to perform and everything. Angelina Jolie's never been better. This is like the crowning achievement in her career. I think she's incredible. And I mean, in my opinion, there's a lot of people that don't like Angelina Jolie, but in my opinion, that's a big thing to say because she has done a lot of great work. But I just think that this film, it just the sheer amount of work she puts into it, and she does sing in this film. Her real voice is used in this film, but of course, it's of the Maria Callas that was in the later stages of her life. But it was still really beautiful to hear, and just shot really beautifully as well. It was on my top 10, so obviously I like this film a whole hell of a lot. And I don't know, in the States, it's on Netflix already, but here in Canada, it's only available on Mubi right now, which is another streaming service. That's where you can watch The Substance right now. The Girl with the Needle is on there as well. Queer is going to be on there. Movie's really shaking itself up to be a pretty good streaming service, actually. But I really recommend Maria. I thought it was great, and yeah, yet another music biopic here. So, all right, and the last one for the Fresh for Your Eyeballs this week. This is a film that I think is going to be huge when it comes to the Oscars. It's already won. I think it won Best Picture. It won Best Director. It won Best Actor. Well, I think the list goes on and on for Golden Globes. This is The Brutalist.
When a visionary architect and his wife flee post-war Europe in 1947 to rebuild their legacy and witness the birth of modern United States, their lives are changed forever by a mysterious wealthy client. Starring Adrian Brody, Felicity Jones, Guy Pearce, Joe Alwyn, Raffy Cassidy, Stacey Martin, Emma Laird, Isaac DeBancourt, and Alessandro Nivola. That guy again. Written and directed by Brady Corbet.
Yes, Brady Corbet. The last film he did was one with Natalie Portman. It was like about a pop star. It was called Vox Lux. Really, really great film that just kind of got shoved under the carpet and no one really saw it. And he went through such hell making that film that he vowed never to make a film in the United States ever again. And The Brutalist is a film that he made in kind of retaliation to that feeling. And it is, I mean, underlyingly, it is bitingly like the experience Brady Corbet went through. Like, because Laszlo, escapes the Holocaust with his life, emigrates under duress to the United States, and then is taken under the wing by a rich benefactor who then uses his architectural skills to create his masterpiece while basically degrading the dude. Like it's hard to really explain. As I said last week, this movie is an epic tome to get through because it is 3.5 hours long. I mean, that full has a 10-minute intermission in the middle. Actually, in Vancouver right now at the Park Theater, they're showing it in 70 millimeter.
Oh.
So you can hear the ticking of the film as you
Yeah.
watch the movie and everything, which to me is like, come on. It's beautiful to look at because it's shot in VistaVision, which is just ultra skookum widescreen. Like like you can see the grain of the film.
Mhm.
Adrian Brody is an incredible actor that has been saddled
Yeah.
with a lot of shit since he won his Academy Award for The Pianist. He's done some bad films. He's done some really bad stuff. He's also done some he's also done some really great films. Like he's done some Wes Anderson stuff and he's done stuff that I really, really love. But The Brutalist is the reminder, I feel like, to the world that Adrian Brody is still fantastic. Um, Felicity Jones, is that what I said? Felicity Jones is so great in this film as well. I think she's a pretty big candidate for supporting actress, I believe. And Guy Pearce is always good. And this movie is the first half of the movie. It's just there is such a tonal difference between both sides of the film that I think is so fascinating. And they don't really make films like this anymore. And for a younger filmmaker like Brady Corbet, because I feel like Brady Corbet is only like 35, 36 years old, to make something like this is so vastly impressive. And it just feels like you still have those John Huston like filmmakers existing. Like there's still that there will always kind of renew, and there will be another one to carry that kind of filmmaking forth. And The Brutalist is just a hell of a film. It really is. All right, let's move on to something you can watch on your Blu-ray player. And by Blu-ray player, I mean 4K to be exact. And I got one of the top films on the AFI 100 of all time. Something a film that I feel like will never pale on that list. This is North by Northwest.
A New York City advertising executive goes on the run after being mistaken for a government agent by a group of foreign spies and falls for a woman whose loyalties he begins to doubt. Starring Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint, James Mason, and Jesse Royce Landis. Directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
Hitchcock is the master, one of the original masters, and I've been trying to, because when it comes to pre-70, I'm kind of hazy on, unless they're like big tentpole movies like Psycho or some Stanley Kubrick stuff and some stuff from the 60s. I'm still like I'm not well versed, and I'm trying to improve that. 2024, 2023, 24 were kind of my first years to try to make that push to watch older films. I did watch a vastly older film recently with Orson Welles, The Lady from Shanghai, which I really enjoyed. It was a great film noir. North by Northwest, though, Hitchcock films, I feel like there's a difference to them because I feel like there's a timelessness in the storytelling that it's still, the twists and turns still work. I love the tricks in filming and all the in camera stuff because you see the basis of things that we still see used today and the influence of Alfred Hitchcock. And North by Northwest is one of those massively influential films. And at the basis of it, it's something that is now so cliched. Just a mistaken identity turns this guy's life completely upside down. He is shoved into a car off of the street, and boom, his life is never going to be the same because he's never going to be able to go back to it. And I just kind of love that aspect. I love the fact that just the thought that everything behind you is erased and you only have
Yeah.
forward to go. And there's so many iconic things. There's a big set piece on Mount Rushmore that is just beautiful to look at. And you might have seen because it's iconic and it's probably used a bunch of time, of a guy running through a field and a plane coming down to try to attack him. That's from North by Northwest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Hitchcock is the nucleus of mystery thriller suspense. And this is a big film like that. And Eva Marie Saint is gorgeous on film. The 4K pressing of this looks just brilliant. And every now and then I have an issue, like a pausing issue or a stutter in my picture when it comes to 4K. I think it's just maybe the hiccup of the medium as it gets better and better. I didn't have one with this disc, so Warner Brothers is doing something well with this one because I didn't have a problem with this one or my Terminator 4K. So good on you. You're doing something right there at Warner Brothers. So I have good thoughts for my 7 4K, which I haven't watched yet. Speaking of other things in my library, I added 4 new ones to it. Yeah, the first one I've already talked about on this show is Charlie Plummer. He's kind of a drifting, an aimless kid that has to support his family and goes to work at a queer-friendly ranch. The movie is called National Anthem. I thought it was beautifully done, and I really love these films of spiritual awakening, not even spiritual awakening, but personality, where you find your people, you find yourself, you find the path that you're supposed to go down. And that's exactly what this film is. I really, really like it. Another one's a drama from the 90s with Michael Keaton and Gina Davis. It's called Speechless. I love Michael Keaton so much. And you pair him with Gina Davis, and I'm there. And it's a film that I never watched when it came out, when I was a video store kid renting all of these VHSs or trying to buy previously owned VHSs back in the day. I never picked this one up, so I'm glad to check that one out. I'll bring it back to the show once I do. From Warner Archive, they finally released on Blu-ray For Your Consideration, directed by Christopher Guest. This is that whole crew of people: Christopher Guest, Harry Shearer, um, Michael McKean, Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, Jane Levy, the late Fred Willard, and this one, this film, again, the kings of mockumentary, and this is a film that I feel like is massively undersold. And I mean, I adore all of Christopher Guest's movies, and we honestly wouldn't have the mockumentary if it wasn't for this film crew. I guess Rob Reiner has something to do with that too, with This Is Spinal Tap, but yeah, I dig this one a lot. And lastly, I got a little film that came out. It was released through Focus Features and Universal Pictures. It was called Dee Dee, and it's like the coming of age story of a Chinese American kid. And his mom is played by Joan Chen, who is in. Is she in Twin Peaks? Am I right about Twin Peaks? She might be in Twin Peaks. I might be cutting that part out. But it's got Joan Chen in it, and I really, really like her. I mean, Joy Luck Club is a fantastic freaking film. And I feel like it's been a really long time since she's done a film, but I'm hearing such great things about Dee Dee. Actually, on After the Credits, all of my co-hosts praised this film a lot. So I did the no-brainer, just send it to me, please. And it's here now, so I will be checking out and bringing it to the show. I got something fun to talk about now that you're back, Chloe. So let's hit this. That's right. Now that it's over, I finally finished the latest season of Them, and it was called The Scare.
Anthology horror series with varying characters and locations by season, featuring different aspects of the horror genre, starring Deborah Iorindi, Pam Grier, Luke James, Joshua J. Williams, and Jeremy Bobb. Created by Little Marvin, available on Prime Video.
So firstly, do you think we're getting a season 3?
I truly hope so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this season did well enough to warrant one. I don't even know how good the first season did. Like, I never hear people talk about it.
No, neither do I.
On social media, like, it's just dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but I really do hope that they...
I didn't even know the season came out until you told me on the show.
Yeah.
So, like, there was no marketing behind it as far as I know. Like, even on the Amazon Prime ticker at the top, it never showed it. And it should be in my algorithm as I watched the first season. Yeah. But anyways, so how do you think these two seasons stack up?
I think that they excel in different ways. I do feel like the first season was a little bit more impactful, maybe.
I thought it was scarier.
Yeah. Like the first season was scarier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This second one is a little more psychological and thriller-y than it is horror.
Yeah. See, the first season was about a family being thrust in horrible situations to horrible situations, also dealing with kind of trauma before, which gets revealed over the show. And then this one is basically about hurt people. And you don't know why. And it just, until it starts fleshing it all out. And then it turns out everybody's hurt. Like the revelation on Pam Grier, that, Pam Grier has to come forward with the fact that this child's adopted because it's the only thing that's going to save her and show her the truth. Like it all heads down to like a Lovecraftian tragedy.
Yeah. The second season is definitely more heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's sadder.
Yeah. Oh, there are certain scenes that you can pull out of that are just like horrifically sad. Like Edmund
being rejected by his adopted dad, like
at a party.
At a party,
like a fundraiser
in front of
party.
A bunch of people.
Yeah, it's just it's wild. It's wild. It's so well done. If anything, I'm glad at least that Prime gave Little Marvin 2 seasons to tell, I don't like a story that I feel is like really hard to pitch.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have,
definitely.
especially like your main antagonist villain who bookends the series now, the Raggedy Man, the
Yeah.
not the raggedy, not the doll man, but the blackface,
Yeah.
the mammy guy, like so
He's
creepy.
minstrel, I think.
Yeah, the minstrel. Yeah, it's so creepy, and honestly, that was probably the most chilling moment of the series for me. Was in that last moment of the season, bringing that character back. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like weirdly connected.
yeah, yeah. But I really enjoy it, and I hope they make it more. When I say that the season 2 was a downgrade, I'm not saying that it was a downgrade badly. It just was lesser.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I've got a couple of reminders. Yes, this week's reminders on 4K. I'm waiting for my copy to hit my doorstep. I've gotten notification that it is on its way. But Conclave is now on Blu-ray and 4K. This is a movie that made its way onto your honorable mentions.
Yes.
It's a film that we checked out at VIF. It is damn good. It is, if there's like must-see movies in 2024, Conclave's one of them for
Yeah.
sure.
100%. Yeah.
This movie, the pulse of this procedural is so well done. Ray Fiennes is great, but the whole cast all the way down is just fantastic. And you get to see a cardinal from Italy puffing on a papal red vape.
It's so good.
It's
Like, I
so
love that scene so much.
it's so good. And Isabella Rossellini might get a Best Supporting Actress nomination for it.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a scene. That scene in the cafeteria is really great. Really,
Yeah.
really great. Also, Saturday Night is on Blu-ray. I already have my copy. Thanks, Sandy Karen, for the Christmas present. This is the telling of the 90 minutes before the very first Saturday Night Live broadcast on NBC. An incredible cast. This is my third favorite film of 2024. It is must see. My favorite comedy I saw all year for sure, and just everyone needs to see this film. It's so damn good. All right, so we're about to head out.
There's butts.
All right, I missed that. I missed that theme song.
Yeah.
All right, what are you seeing?
Okay. So I'm going to start this off with Trap because I have to. It is stupid. It might be the dumbest and weirdest written M. Night film that I've ever seen. Like, I know that M. Night writes weirdly, but that guy's like autistic or something, okay? And like, before it wasn't crazy noticeable for me. Like, I was like, oh, like that's like just some of the things are weird, but it wasn't like something that I was like, these people are acting weirdly. But that was a huge thing in this movie. Like, it's so glaring. Like I said, like 4 separate times, people do not speak like this. And like, I understand that like Josh Hartnett is like a serial killer, okay, and like he's trying to hide it and he's being all sketchy and weird, but for a genius serial killer, he's being a fucking weirdo. Like
so many times.
many times.
Like when the stage thing opens up and he's like, "Hey,
Exactly
wanna go down there?
Let's go down there." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, in what universe did you think that was gonna work or be normal? Like, I don't know. But at the same time, Josh Hartnett really makes this movie. Like, I really like his character. And, like, his line delivery, I do think is really good, even though some of the lines are really weird and out of place. But it's an M. Night movie. We've had this discussion before. I'm an M. Night simp. I did find myself very invested in this movie. Like, I was like, are they going to get him? Is he going to get away? Of course he gets away. Because of course he does.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not know that Alison Pill was in this.
Yeah, she just shows up in the end and delivers one of the worst performances I've ever seen out of the woman.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
just purely bad.
And like, so the guy's a serial killer genius, okay? But he can't tell that his wife has been lying about knowing that he's a serial killer and turned him into the police without him knowing.
I know.
But literally anybody else, he can like just deduce anything.
Yep.
I don't know. There was a lot of things wrong with this movie, but I still pretty thoroughly enjoyed it because it's an M. Night movie. I mean, yeah, it's going to be not the greatest, but it's going to be fun.
But he's also like, have you met my other daughter? She sings. Yeah. She sings and then turns into Columbo for the rest of the movie. She's like the smartest crime solver ever. And
she gets super invested.
So invested.
House? What?
So insane. Just so vastly insane. Also, why did they set up the fact that he has a nemesis profiler and then they just never use her whatsoever?
She doesn't know what she's doing most of the time. She's like, okay, we definitely got him. Oh, wait, we don't have him? And then the scene's over.
She is so useless. This
happens like 3 times.
She's so useless. And it's Betty Buckley, too. It's like... No, it's Haley Mills. It's Haley Mills, too. It's like an actual name actress that they got, and they just don't utilize her whatsoever. She just basically bumbles around the whole time. It's just... And quite possibly the worst M. Night cameo ever.
Yeah.
As the uncle? So bad.
Like, uncle producer?
And he's won over so easily. Like, Josh Hartnett can say anything to him, and he's just like, yeah, okay, yeah. She's got cancer, okay.
Yeah, she's cancer. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like,
boy,
I don't know. And then nobody suspects anything.
Nope, I don't know. Nope. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it at least.
Yeah, I mean, the odds were pretty high that I would.
They were in your favor.
All right, so the next one is Heretic. This film is not what I was expecting it to be.
No?
No, I don't really know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting Mormon saw traps, basically. Like, Mormons getting locked in a weird dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it, though. The Mormon characters were kind of annoying, but I think they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like Hugh Grant's performance as this, like, weirdo who, like, just has something to prove to these random girls.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, all the prophets in his basement, like, there's just a lot of things going on that's just like, what the hell is happening? It was definitely a ride, and yeah. I liked it more than I thought I would.
It's a theology thriller.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love about it. The conversationalness of it. The fact that the movie doesn't stop talking from beginning to end, adore. And it's so crazy this comes from Beck and Woods, who did the Quiet Place movies.
Yeah. They feel in the same vein, though. Like, they have the same vibe, I feel.
Yeah.
Just like that, like, kind of grungy, thinky horror type. Yeah. I don't know.
The Monopoly analogy is so fucking good.
Yeah. I loved that. I really liked that. I liked all the dialogue in this. I really liked the questions and the conversations that it brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's got you on the edge of your seat too, because you're like, what is going to happen? What is behind that door? What is down those stairs? Like, what is going on?
And like, what is his true intention? Like,
yeah.
I it was really enjoyable, actually. Yeah.
Sophie Thatcher is an instant star in that movie.
Yeah.
And then Chloe East becomes a star during that film.
Yes.
Like the switch in the third act in Chloe East is fucking incredible. I was just like blown away by her performance in that third act.
I have to say one thing. The implant removal, like when I first saw the scar, I was like, that's a birth control implant.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she touches it on the couch, I knew immediately what it was because I've had one.
Yeah.
And and then he like cuts it out and he's like, this is like government tracking chip or an alien tracking chip or like from the simulation because we live in the Matrix.
Yeah.
And I'm just like laughing my ass off because it's a fucking birth control implant. It's just so funny to me. Yeah, I just really liked that part.
It's a good film. Good film.
Yeah. Okay. Next is I watched The Substance.
I was trying to drag you to this movie the whole time I was out there for the festival. I was trying to find 3 hours, carve out that we could watch this movie in theaters because I think theaters is the best way to watch it. But anyway.
Absolutely insane. Just unhinged. There was a few times in this movie where I was looking at the screen and I'm just like, this is softcore porn. This film was made to appreciate Margaret Qualley.
I'll tell you this though, Margaret Qualley's nudity is prosthetics.
Really? I thought that it looked odd at first. I was like, oh, that's CG. But then it kept happening, and I was like, no, it's not. Prosthetics makes a lot of sense.
And I think Demi Moore's was too.
You're telling me when she became a shrimp, that wasn't real?
The ending. Can we talk the third act for a quick sec? How it just goes gonzo.
Oh my god.
Elizabeth.
I like how it gets introduced. What was it called again? It was called like
Elizasu.
Elizasu, yeah. What the hell was that?
Like, and then it's like, don't make fun of me. I'm beautiful. It's so crazy. What? And Demi Moore screaming out of its back.
Screaming on the back, yeah. Just grotesque in all the best ways.
I love the film, personally. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I.
It's coming out on Blu-ray in 2 weeks, and I'm buying it.
Good.
It's joining the collection, because it has to. It's so freaking wild. And beautiful. So beautiful, too. Like, so well shot. Her apartment. Oh, and I love that the billboard's right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
It's so great. Coralie Farragut just rules. She is just the ultimate filmmaker.
Okay. So this next one is only on the list that I'm talking about because of who's in it. We talked about this before start pressing record. It's called Stream, and it's just a weird ass movie. These people go to this hotel, like it's like a bunch of different people, but we're mainly focusing on this one family, which is husband, wife, teenage daughter, and like a 9-year-old or 9 or 10-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
And the son is a streamer with like a large audience, like over 1,000 people, but it doesn't come up again past 5 minutes into the movie. And so they go to this hotel to just like get away from everything. And this hotel is run by this guy, just some guy. And he's played by, what's his name? I have to look it up.
Is it Jeffrey Combs?
It's Jeffrey Combs, yes.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
yeah. Fucking Dr. Herbert West. That guy's a legend.
But yeah, so Jeffrey Combs is like the manager of this hotel. And it turns out that this hotel is like an arena because there's cameras in it and it's being streamed to the dark web,
Of
and they're gonna
course.
kill
Yeah.
all these people in the hotel. And it's just really stupid. Writing awful. Just awful.
Right.
A lot of it I can't even recall just because it's like, what? Why? And things jump around so much. Like at one point, the teenage daughter completely leaves the hotel with this French guy she just met to go to a concert because fuck you, dad.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And and then she comes back. And the son is just walking around being like, "There's no Wi-Fi here." That's like what he does for half the movie. And the movie is 2 hours long.
Oh, why? Why is it 2 hours?
Things don't start happening until the 1 hour mark, or the 1 hour 10 mark.
How do you do that?
I don't know. They're just walking around the hotel being like, "Oh, that's weird. Oh, the daughter's gonna go and leave with this French guy. Oh, the mom is okay with her 16-year-old daughter drinking and buys her alcohol,
Right.
but don't get drunk." I don't know.
Christ.
It's just really, really dumb. But it also has the guy who plays Art the Clown. He's one of the killers.
Yeah.
No dialogue.
Of course. Well, don't give him dialogue. He's proven to be better without dialogue.
He was the best part of the movie. His physical acting is so good, and every time he was on screen, it made the movie worth watching. Really.
His name's David Howard Thornton.
Okay, I knew it was David Thornton, but I couldn't remember the middle part.
Did you watch Terrifier 3 yet?
Not yet. I've for some reason been struggling to work up to it. Maybe just because I'm pretty resensitized to gore.
Maybe because he massacres a child in the very beginning of the film.
It could be because I've heard that and I'm scared.
Bill hated it. Bill hated the film.
I feel like this would be a film that people either /tolerate or absolutely despise.
Yeah, he hated it. Just hated it.
Yeah.
But Stream?
Stream, it's no, I mean, there's gore, but it's they do it really good in some spots and then really badly in other spots. So that's just kind of weird. No, it's not consistent at all. And then the actress who played Angela in Sleepaway Camp is also in this, but she's in it for 5 minutes total, and then she gets killed.
Oh.
She's married to some drunk guy, and then he gets killed, and that's it. So yeah, just a weird movie that's not necessary, I don't think. But it has a crazy good rating. It's got 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't even understand that. That doesn't even make sense.
I know. That's why I put it on, because it had really good reviews. So I'm like, okay, well, this looks low budget as hell, but people like it. Don't know why. But yeah. And then yeah. What's the rating?
94%, 93 audience.
Even higher than I said it was. Why?
I don't get it.
I don't know. And then the last one that I saw was Twisters.
Yes. Glenn Powell.
Now, yes, I really liked Glenn Powell in this. Yeah.
He looks damn good in it.
He looks really good in this.
Really good in this movie.
I don't think I ever saw the original.
No, you never saw the original film. Okay.
I don't think so. So I went into this completely blind.
Okay.
Some of the writing, I was like, what? When when they say we don't know how tornadoes are formed, what? Like there's a line in it. I swear, when they say nobody knows how tornadoes are formed, yeah, they do. So, I don't know, but shooting the fireworks into the tornado was great. I loved that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That
You can
was a
see how
great
this
shot.
would play in theaters, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I I do think that a lot of the love for this film is being driven by nostalgia for the original film,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. It was a fun film. I like disaster movies,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so
I
it definitely wasn't wasted time.
No, I would say more than the first film did. This film deals with consequence a lot more than the first film did. They
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
go from tornado to tornado in the first film. In this one, they're like, "Oh shit!" They're like, "This fucked an entire town up," or you know what I mean? Like they're also like there are scenes with consequence. You know, so there's a lot more death in Twisters than there is in the first
I also like the term tornado outbreak. Like they've
film.
broken out of
Yeah.
somewhere. The tornadoes are on the loose.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit and stuff, like
I thought we got rid of you.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. Absolutely perfect.
fun watch though.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you got a hell of a lot there.
Yeah, this is a long episode.
That's a long episode. Okay, well, might as well just jump to what's going on next week. All right, so next week, I've been waiting for this film for a while. This is Lee Winnell's new film. I get to check out Wolfman. This is Christopher Abbott, Julia Garner. I'm really excited for this film. I loved Invisible Man. And when I heard that they gave Lee this film, I was like, oh, he's going to do something real special with it. Because Lee Winnell is just a great filmmaker. So I'm excited for it. Are you going to check this one out, do you think?
It's like the werewolf
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolfman, yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of promotion for it, like a lot of advertisements for it. Yeah, I think I will check this one out.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But that brings us to a close for this week. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and Blue Sky at the Stevel Dead.
You can find me on Letterboxd at HoneyBunChloe.
You can find all the episodes of this show on stevestebbing.ca, or just go to YouTube and look up Steve Stebbing or The Stevel Dead, and you'll find this page. Give us a like and subscribe. We're also on shiftheads.ca, and you can hear me every week on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Shane Hewitt and The Night Shift on Toronto's News Talk 1010, located on the iHeart Radio network. So we've emptied out our list, a huge list for Chloe this week. And we got to fill them up again. So until next time, bye-bye.